With us here on the probe here on the Joy News channel. Like I said, tonight my guest is the General Secretary of the NDC, Asiedu Nketia, and he's taking a seat already. Thank you so much for joining us tonight on the probe.
You're welcome.
I've seen you work as a polling agent this week,
yes.
Or is it last week?
Yes.
And you've been working hard. How has the week been so far, you would say? Senior West, you grabbed it. Are you hoping to grab more?
Yes. We are hoping to grab at least 2 more seats, possibly 3. So it brings us back to our 140 seats, which we claimed we had won.
Okay, so it appears that a number of interviews we had, at least with Mr. John Dramani Mahama, for instance, prior to the election, the focus largely was parliamentary seats, majority in parliament. What does the NDC know that we all do not know? I
don't know how you describe the focus to be on parliamentary majority. Parliamentary majority is very important for every president to perform. So without parliamentary majority, it becomes difficult because by the structure of our governance, many of the policies and programs that the president will have to undertake would necessarily have to be approved by a parliament that is not hostile to that president. And so it is important that whilst you aim at winning the presidency, you must also aim at winning the majority in parliament that will facilitate your work as a president. So
is it that the focus is just on the parliamentary majority and not the presidency? Because the confusion is the NDC just focusing on getting a parliamentary majority and not really the presidency? What exactly is it? I
thought I had answered the question. I'm saying that I don't understand you when you say that our focus is on parliamentary. Did the president stop campaigning? He didn't. We were all campaigning to get Mahama win. In fact, the bulk of our campaign was about Mahama winning. But we did not forget about parliamentary majority. So our campaign was driven by 3 campaign teams. I was focusing more on parliamentary seats, but the other 2 teams were also working on the presidential campaign.
Okay.
So I don't understand the basis of you thinking that our campaign was basically on...
Because, for instance, I had an interview with Mr. Mahama, for instance, and in that interview, he mentioned that the polls that you have conducted, the independent polls that your party has conducted, tells you that you have an outright majority in parliament. Failing to speak specifically on the presidency, whether you're going to win convincingly like your polls are telling you with the majority. That's how come we are seeking that.
Unfortunately, I did not watch the interview and I cannot confirm that indeed he did say what you claim he said. But it will be absurd for a person who is campaigning to become president to come and grant an interview and his focus is about some other people winning and he not winning. You understand? So I don't believe that President Mahama at any point created the impression that his focus was to get majority in parliament and it was not about him winning. I haven't heard him say so.
Well, so we'll get into your outright rejection after the results were declared. Of course, we'll get into the many questions that have already come in. And then at the top of the hour 8 also, we'll go for a presidential address. Right. But let me first find out from you the confusion for some, at least those who are not on your side, is that what are you rejecting, parliamentary or presidential?
You know, we have 276 elections that took place on the 7th of December. 1 presidential election and 275 parliamentary elections. So we are rejecting some of the parliamentary election results and the presidential results.
And the presidential results.
That's right.
Okay, so let's start with some of the parliamentary results that you are rejecting. I know that you had concerns with Techiman South, for instance, which you're still, we'll talk about in detail, exactly what measures you are taking to reverse it. Which other seats are you contesting?
As at now, we have Safiyoso to contend with. As at the time, we were giving our initial addresses, we were talking about Sene, which has since been settled.
Yeah.
We're talking about Savilugu, which has since been settled. We have issues with Zabzugu, where the candidate for MPP who doubles as a minister was seen in a small room giving instructions to EC staff to prepare pin sheets in a certain manner to declare him winner. And we have that video. And so the outcome of such election is problematic unless certain things are done to clear the air that indeed he won what he claimed he had won. Okay. Because we are not party to any collation of results. You know, the electoral process follows certain stages that ends up in declaration of results. Okay. There is first declaration, which is the primary declaration that is at the polling station level. Then all the others are built on the primary declaration. And then if it is a parliamentary election, the returning officer at the constituency level will make another declaration and then will mention the winner of the parliamentary elections. Okay. If it is the presidential elections, there will be declaration at the polling station, which is the basic and primary declaration, and then all the others are additions. I mean, a matter of adding figures and collating for the chairperson of the Electoral Commission, who happens to be the returning officer, to also declare who is the winner of the presidential elections.
When the rain is blowing in your face.
So the issue we have is that these two declarations must reconcile. Okay. Because both of them are coming from the same institution. So the beginning point is the primary declaration that is at the polling station. I'm sure you've heard it said that elections are won at polling stations.
Exactly.
Yes, so the primary results declaration is at the polling station, where the votes are actually counted and the winner for that polling station is declared. So all the others are just a build-up on the primary declaration. And at the level of the primary declaration, parties agree and they share the results. So everybody has the same copy. So that becomes your testimony if you come to collation and the results coming out of collation appears to be conflicting with what you have. You understand? So our issue is that the same Electoral Commission has declared results as various polling stations. And they have totaled the figures and are declaring results at the constituency collation center. And mind you, because every participant has a copy of the results declared at the polling station, the rest, which is addition, everybody is capable of adding independently in their households or wherever. So if you add...
After the agents have signed?
Yes, yes. So if my agents have signed, and I have a copy of what my agents signed, your agents too have signed, all the agents have signed all the documents that each of the contesting parties is holding. So that is the basis of verifying totals that will be declared by the returning officer at the constituency level. That is why there is a process called collation. The collation process involves agents of all the parties coming around the table. And then you mention the figures that have been declared at the polling stations, polling station by polling station. And then we will be doing the tallying. So as for the tallying at the constituency level, anybody, anybody who has access to the basic declaration at the polling station can do their independent, tallies. So if you bring out a wrong resource, as many people as have access to the basic data can come and contradict you.
Of course.
That is why you cannot do collation in secret and hoping that you can declare somebody winner when the person actually has not won.
Is that what happened?
That is what happened in Techimai South. Because I have with me here the summary of the results. All the...
This is for Techimai South?
For Techimai South. All the polling stations.
All the polling stations.
All the polling stations. And these are copies of the pink sheets. These are all the pink sheets from Techimai South.
Okay.
They are all here. So I can make copies for Joy FM to also do your addition. And you will see that you cannot escape the conclusion that the NDC candidate has won. You understand? So it is foolhardy for any commission at whatever level to be contesting such a resource, because all the signatures of the returning officer, these are names of presiding officer of the Electoral Commission.
Okay.
Okay. So if your officers have declared results individually at all the polling stations in Techimai South and given us copies that this is a declaration, this is testimony that the results at this polling station have been declared like this. This is what actually happened after the counting. And we all take our copies. And you go sit somewhere and do some addition. And we all are in a position to do our own additions. We have done the addition and said that Christopher Bayere has won. These are the totals.
50,000?
Yes, 50,000.
420.
And this is for MPP.
49,825.
Precisely.
This is your tally.
Yes, so we can give you copies of the pink sheets. And even as Joy FM, you can also add them. CPP or whichever candidate participated in the elections are entitled to these copies at the polling station.
Okay, but you were on a fact-finding mission, for instance, to the Techimai South. Yeah. Senate West, we saw what happened. You benefited from the court decision. Then you eventually won the Senate West constituency seat. Yes. Now that you say that you have copies of this, the whole pin sheet, but you went there last week or so asking for some document from the Electoral Commission. Yes. What happened?
You see, this is our tally. And we have not seen the Electoral Commission tally. Nobody has seen it. Apart from the officer who claims he has prepared it, there is no copy anywhere. Because you see, the tally, the collation system is such that all of you sit around the table. And then the returning officer who has kept the original of the pink sheet will read the figures from his own copies of the pink sheet. That this polling station number K.
Ungewissheit bei Ihrer Zahngesundheit? Elmex arbeitet mit der Zahnmedizin zusammen.
So. Then each of you will pick your copies of the pink sheet of that polling station, because they were all prepared and distributed to you, the same document. So then the original copy is kept by the presiding officer. So the presiding officer each presiding officer from all the polling stations will bring the original copies to the returning officer. So the process of collation is where each of the parties will have a collation agent who gathers his or her copies of the results declared at all the polling stations. So each of them will come and sit around the table with their heap of results, pink sheets.
Yeah.
Then the presiding officer will mention figures, will take polling station by polling station, and then we'll mention the figures that are there.
But that was what was done.
No, it has not been done. That is the problem we are talking about.
Okay.
Then he will mention the figures. Then you will look at it and take, yes, NDC got 256, MPP got 231. So we have all agreed. Then they will mention another polling station. So they mention all the polling stations one by one for you all to agree that the figures that the returning officer is mentioning are actually the figures that were recorded at the polling station. Then you all agree on the tally. Then you now add, in the addition, as many agents as possible will be holding their own calculators.
So fast forwarding.
So when you add, then the figures will emerge and the winner will not be in any controversy.
Okay. So fast forwarding, you went there asking for the EC's tally. That was not given to you.
If you may allow me 1 minute. So when there was this controversy and we went there, we said that, well, our agents are saying that there was no collation. And the Electoral Commission is claiming that there is collation. So we went there to find out whether indeed there was collation. And if there was collation, all the participating parties must have a copy of the collated results. So that even after the collation, you can now come and compare the figures that have been assigned to you in the various polling stations and come with your pink sheets. If there is discrepancy, then it can be the basis of going to court or seeking redress somewhere. So we said that you have done the collation. We are a participating party. So where is the copy of our, where is our copy of the collated results? And he says he won't give us. We don't have. Then we said the law also provides for transparency. The law provides that the hall in which you do the collation, it is designated in advance. So everybody knows that Techman staff, after the poll, the close of poll, we all proceed to this particular hall to do collation. You announce to the political parties that the collation will be done at the Techman Community Center. You shifted the venue to Bronchampim Hall.
What reasons were given?
No reason. But our agents heard about it and followed to the Bronchampim Hall. So, and you are supposed, if there were in fact collation, you are supposed to paste a copy of the results at the collation center, so that it is noticed to all Ghanaians who are interested to know what figures were collated. We went straight to the Bronchampim Hall and then also went to the community center, videoed all the walls to just gather evidence that whether you have pasted something there. There was nothing pasted there. We came, we said, okay, give us our copy. We are a political party. We are entitled to. Whether we participated in the collation or we didn't participate in any collation, we are entitled to the outcome. He said he cannot give us any. He said, okay, there is a right to information in this country. So you are in a public office. Let us see your copy of the results as collated. He said he won't show us.
But right to information, of course, that we go through a process.
Yes, it tells you.
A process. It's not just going there and saying that you have a right to information. So provide the information.
As for Electoral Commission office, what is the logo of the Electoral Commission? Is it not transparency? What? You can read. I've forgotten about. But it includes.
But have you gone beyond
fairness and so on?
Level?
So you cannot deny a participating party the results you claim you have announced. So I participate in a game or in an exams. You haven't given me my results, and then you come to declare that I have failed. On what basis?
But if your teacher, you're talking about on the basis that the analogy that you're giving, I'm sure you've seen videos also of that collation that day where your candidates and some other party members were heckling the returning officer.
No, that's not the one. Please, listen.
Okay.
You see, during the collation, you have to agree to all the polling station results.
Where did that particular incident
It happened at that same place they claim they have done collation.
Okay.
Yeah. So you have to, when they mention the figure.
But you have not acknowledged that particular incident, your candidate pushing a returning officer,
saying that if you listen to what happened,
okay,
because you are not there, I'm telling you what.
But our reporters were there.
Yes, your reporters must have brought you pictures, but they didn't explain to you what videos, but they didn't explain to you or maybe
they couldn't have just brought us videos without explaining.
I'm saying that maybe they didn't understand the process
okay.
themselves. It's
so
possible.
Tell me what you've been told.
When you begin the collation, and you get to a point where there is disagreement about the figures, okay, or maybe signatures or something else, or even at the polling station, if the people disagree with the counting, they can request for recounting. So when you come, before you get to the addition of the figures themselves, you must agree on what figures have emerged and are being mentioned. Okay, so there was disagreement about the results of 5 polling stations. So our agents were asked to go and do a meeting so that you agree to clear the 5 first before you come to do the collation. Okay. It was that meeting where there was confusion. You understand? So the videos you saw were about the meeting to agree on those 5 polling stations. And so if that is cleared, then you now come to your proper collation, add the figures you have agreed.
But what kind of meeting leads to pushing of tables and hitting of the returning officer?
Listen, the returning officer proved incapable of resolving the issue, so it has to draw the attention of the regional director of elections. So the regional director of elections came in and said that, well, if the conduct of parties, the conduct of the returning officer has generated some lack of confidence in what is doing by the political parties, then I'm taking over to come and help resolve the issues around the 5 polling stations.
Okay.
Then after that, you can go back and do the collation. So it was the attempt to resolve the 5 polling stations where emotions flared up. And then, so our people had to leave the place. So when those emotions flared up, our people
Are you justifying what the emotions flaring up leading to?
Oh, well, if you don't agree with the cheating that is happening to you, you have every right to walk away or to do something that will secure your interest. So our people were going out, and then news went around that there was problem with the coalition.
Okay.
So voters started massing up towards the Brunchampim Hall. And it was there that these are unarmed people. It was there that the police were seen in the video shooting live bullets into the crowd. That resulted in 2 dead instantly and several others injured. Yeah. One of whom died subsequently. So we have 3 dead now, and then about 9 injured, some of whom are still recuperating in the hospital. Okay. So after all this, our people left the place because, of course, there is fear, pandemonium, and so on. So no collation could have happened. Then they left. 3 days or 4 days afterwards, before they heard that some figures have been collated and somebody had been declared, they said, okay, if you abandon a collation center, there is no law that restrains the Electoral Commission from completing their collation. So if they have collated in our absence, it is not a big deal. But we are entitled to the results.
Okay, so you hold on. Let
us see what you have collated, based upon which you did a declaration, and there was absolutely no
that has not been given. So you have your tally, like you've been talking about. We'll talk about what you're going to do with it, because it looks like Teaching South is key for you. We'll go to the Jubilee House and take our presidential address, and then we'll come back and continue. This is the General Secretary of the NDC, Johnson Asiedu Nketia, my guest. We're right back.
Fellow Ghanaians, good evening. Let me thank you yet again for welcoming me into your homes. This being the 20th time since the outbreak of COVID-19 in the country, and the first since the election of 7th December, where Ghanaians once again reposed their confidence in me for another 4 years. When I delivered update number 19 on 8th November, I indicated that the nation.
Wohin soll's gehen? Wir sind hier, um dir zu helfen, dorthin zu kommen. Mit der Uber-App und einem professionellen Fahrer, um dich an dein Ziel zu bringen. Wir sind hier. Also, wohin soll's gehen?
In the course of that week, was recording on the average 130 new cases of infections per day, and thus urged all Ghanaians not to let their guard down. It has been 6 weeks since that appeal, and within that period, we've had a vigorous political campaign season, and elected a president and 275 members of parliament by over 13 million Ghanaians across some 38,000 polling stations, in accordance with the effective safety protocols put in place by the Electoral Commission. Despite the genuine fears of many that we would see a surge in cases, we have, on the contrary, witnessed a stable daily rate of infection of between 130 and 100 cases. Indeed, the total number of active cases has reduced marginally from 1,139 as of Friday, 6th November, to 946 as of Friday, 18th December. Our hospitalization rates continue to be very low, and our treatment centers are virtually empty. As per data from the Ghana Health Service, some regions at the moment have no recorded active cases, and long may this continue. So on behalf of government, I want to thank our fellow Ghanaians who continue to adhere to the social distancing, hand washing, hand hygiene, and mask wearing protocols which serve us well. Our heroic health workers have seen to 52,675 recoveries, for which the country is extremely grateful. Unfortunately, 13 more deaths from COVID-19 and its complications have been recorded, bringing the total number of fatalities to 333 out of the 53,954 confirmed cases. May their souls rest in peace. The data tell us that we're experiencing in Ghana clusters of cases linked largely to confined indoor spaces with poor ventilation, workplaces, offices, factories, schools, parties, and arriving passengers at our airport. Fellow Ghanaians, the recent news of emergency approval of COVID-19 vaccines by the Food and Drugs Administration of the United States of America and the Medicines and Healthcare Products Regulatory Agency of the United Kingdom provide considerable optimism and hope for the world in our battle to defeat the pandemic. Ghana, I assure you, is not going to be left behind in having access to the vaccines. I'm aware of the anxieties relating to the safety and efficacy of newly developed vaccines. Government will ensure that the COVID-19 vaccines to be deployed in the country are effective and are safe. To this end, I've put together a team of experts from the relevant institutions and agencies who are working assiduously towards the procurement and deployment of the vaccines in Ghana.
Stepstone präsentiert Jobs. Leichte Jobs, harte Jobs, wichtige Jobs.
The briefings held by the Ministry of Information will keep the nation updated on this matter. Until then, and with barely a week to the Christmas festivities, which bring in its wake family reunions, parties, and many social and religious gatherings. I urge all of us to err on the side of caution and observe the COVID-19 safety protocols, no matter where we find ourselves. The dynamics of the virus has taught us that if you must host or attend such events, they are best held safely outdoors or in very well-ventilated halls, rather than in closed, air-conditioned spaces. Even when organized outdoors, there must be adequate spacing for the maintenance of social distancing. Organizers of such events, public or private, should ensure the presence of Veronica buckets, soap, and sanitizers, and must insist that patrons use them as frequently as possible. I entreat all persons with underlying ailments such as hypertension, diabetes, chronic liver disease, and asthma to pay particular attention to their health during the festive season. It is important to stress that our borders by land and sea will remain closed to human traffic until further notice. Beaches, pubs, cinemas, and nightclubs remain closed until further notice. All other institutions that have been cleared to function are to continue to do so in strict adherence to the COVID-19 protocols. So, my fellow Ghanaians, I make this plea to all of you to ensure compliance with the enhanced hygiene and mask-wearing protocols that have become part of our daily routines. This will help us in the fight against the virus. Enuanum, bronya breya enije bebre bekoso ay bekwa sorry eni hyiamu mesremo yen koso en boye ho ban titru yen hye mask no yen hoho yen sa yen titi yen tem na no ne beboae ama ya pam yare no afiri ye man mu I remember bronya ne ni mi se pi baba no wo ba ya somo kekpe mi panyefai why no ni wo bu he titiri wo mask wo forward ni wo hani gbe aka woten no ni ba wo ni wo hwe helana keje wo ma na mi. This too shall pass, for the battle is still the Lord's. May God bless us all in our homeland Ghana and make her great and strong. I thank you for your attention and good night.
Welcome back. That's update number 20 by President Akufo-Addo just gone by. Largely, we have 30 more deaths recorded, now 333, and now 553,954 cases recorded so far as a country. And also, the Ministry of Information in due course will be updating us on our progress when it comes to the vaccine, when Ghana can get access to it. Beaches, nightclubs still remain closed, and as we get into the festivities, you ought to err on the side of caution. Continue to wear your nose masks. That's update number 20, just gone by. My guest still in the studio here on the probe tonight is the General Secretary of the NDC, Asiedu Nketia. Pretty shortly, we'll be getting into your questions that you've sent in. I see that you're getting very interactive. Keep them coming in. We'll get into it, but we're talking about Techiman South. Mr. Asiedu Nketia had outlined a number of constituencies that they are hoping to, claim. That's the NDC side. We've talked about Sifiri also. Sene West, of course, has fallen for the NDC. They are hoping to take the Savlugu has also fallen. He's been talking about, and Zabzugu is one area that they are looking at. We've been talking about Techiman South. We'll fast forward it, and then we can get into some of the other issues that you've raised. WhatsApp line are active is 055-1111-997 on your screens. You can send them right now. So, Mr. Asiedu Nketia, let's bring a closure on the Techiman South.
Okay.
South.
Our demand is that we have requested for collation, or in their words, recollation, because we believe that there was no collation, and they claim there is a collation. Whatever be the case, we can request for collation or recollation. But the one interesting thing was that when we were in the same larger Brong Ahafo region, there was this Banda case where NDC won. MPP requested for collation. It was granted. It has since been done by the same Electoral Commission. And we said that, well, whether you have done collation or no collation, and we don't have any...
They may have gone through the right processes to get it done.
No, the Banda one...
The right processes?
The Banda, yes, we've gone through the processes. When we prepared this in a petition, they heard that we were bringing the petition, they ordered the office closed.
How do you say that? Who
no, the Techimine EC office remains closed up to today. The whole place was abandoned just for the reason of avoiding the receipt.
So have you gone beyond
petition.
The constituency regional head office? Have you done that?
So we said, okay, we have, if we are refusing to receive a petition, we have other legal ways of forcing you to receive the petition. So we have since gone to the post office and mailed the petition to them through EMS, and they have received it and signed that they have received it. So legally they have received the petition, and still they are there not responding to it. So you ask yourself, the commission that claims to be fair and just to everybody and transparent to everybody, that is, I mean, their motto. Transparency, fairness, integrity, blah, blah, and all that. You have held elections. You claim to have done collation. I am a participant. You have declared me loser. I say, let me see the collation sheet and let me see the declaration which was based on the collation, which I'm legally entitled to. You say we won't give it to you. So we send your cameras to capture the returning officer actually denying us our copy, which we are entitled to. He claimed our copy is with the regional director of elections. We proceeded to the regional director, and he said no. The man was lying. You understand? Then we are sending a petition, and you close your office and run away. And you have since not been there. But we have used another means to serve you the petition, and no action is happening. So if there's a problem in Techiman, the problem is completely blamable on the Electoral Commission and the government.
So how much time are you giving yourself? For instance, not giving, because you sent the petition, you said...
We are saying that, look, the right things must be done. The way you treat our colleagues, treat us like that fairly. In fact, these results we have
is a recollation.
Precisely, a collation, whether they will call it recollation or whatever, because we have added the figures. So if your figures that you are declaring...
Hanteln. Mal schauen, was meine Inkontinenz dazu sagt. Zum Glück habe ich eine Geheimwaffe in meiner...
are different from our figures, then we all check whose calculator was wrong. You understand? And then
yours?
Well, but thousands and thousands of Ghanaians can also do collation. In fact, if you want us to do the collation with viewers, I can pick the sheets one by one and mention the data. Then the viewers, then the viewers will call in and tell us their totals. And it will not be different from what we have now, which shows clearly that Christopher Bayere is the winner by close to 600 votes.
Okay, so that's
and
all
if we have been able to resolve a much closer fought constituency like Sene West in peace, and there is peace there now. The difference was 16 votes. Because of the transparent process we went through, everybody understands. Now you have a place where somebody has won by 600 votes. Let us sit around. In fact, it will be in the interest of whoever claims is a winner to also go through the process so that your win is not tainted.
Okay.
You understand? Okay. But for you to say that, well, I have won, but nobody will know the basis of my winning, and yet I am the MP. It's not on.
And that's not up to him. You are asking the
EC to do that. And the Electoral Commission is not doing it. So if civil society or anybody who is interested in the peace of Techiman is calling for peace, they should know where they should direct that call. NDC is not fighting in Techiman. We haven't shot a gun. In fact, we are being shot at. And 9 of our members have been shot and 3 have died. So if you are directing your call for peace to the victim, how can the victim of suppression be called upon to guarantee the peace of the oppressor?
Well, but for Sene West, this is a matter that the NDC doesn't want to hear.
Sene West was...
Because for Sene West, you benefited from a court.
Sene West,
so if you
no. We didn't go to court.
Of course, but
we will come to that.
I said you
the
benefited.
Court threw them away.
You went there.
No, the court said that this is not the forum. Go back and do what the NDC people were asking you to do.
Okay.
So they came back to do what they had to do. Because before you go to court, there are processes you go through. It is after all those processes have been exhausted and that you have some document with which you can go to court. If you say we should go to court to challenge this, we don't have the results. What are you going to challenge?
Okay, so until you get what the EC...
So the administrative thing must be done first so that if you disagree with the outcomes, it is then that the process is mature for anybody to go to court.
Okay, but so we are leaving the audience out at this point on this. But interestingly, we heard the presidential address, and I didn't hear your comment on that. They've been asked, because you are on the street.
I don't see you
didn't come here to comment on
the president's address, because I didn't know he was going to talk. And whatever he's talking about is not my concern for now.
It's not, COVID is not your concern?
For now.
For now?
Yes,
your people are on the streets protesting. Some of them are wearing
if you are
masks.
going to die, many more people can die of bad governance than COVID. So you must fix the governance system.
But as a general secretary, if you make comments like this, because the president is asking us to wear nose masks and you are not...
If I'm affected by COVID now, I have a chance of surviving. And it will take me some time to survive. But if the shooting that is going on now, if they shoot me now, won't I die?
Okay.
And I'll die faster than the COVID. So let us fix the wrong things that are threatening to throw this country into explosion than to be talking about COVID at this stage. Because we were talking about COVID before the elections. Did they listen when we were saying that this is COVID period? Electoral Commission cannot do this gathering. The government sent soldiers to protect them to do what they
Let's go for a quick break, Mr. Asiedu Nketia. We'll go for a quick break. I promise when we come back, it's just your questions from now until we close.
When the rain is blowing.
Welcome back, and we'll get straight into the questions. We'll start off from Facebook. Sani Sra says, Salute General, I want to know, what's the NDC's next line of action concerning this flawed election? Asking. We'll note the questions down, we go through them quickly. The second one is from Benjamin. It says, at this stage that the re-election of President Akufo-Addo has been gazetted and awaiting his eventual swearing in come next January, why are they not getting off the streets and run to the courts to seek redress for their grievances, or they also do have something to hide from the general public? That's Benjamin. There's another one from Eric. It says, no doubt they continue insulting the media houses because they know you will come back after they rain all manner of insults on you. Eric is sending that. We have another one. It says, I just want to know from him why he's deliberately playing on the mind of his naive section of supporters into believing that they actually won the elections. That's one. The second one, please ask him. Okay, so that's one. So we'll go on to the next one at this point. That's a WhatsApp question from Martha. It says, prior to election, they trained some lawyers to man polling stations. What happened to them? Were the allegations they are making about stolen elections recorded in their presence? What impact did those lawyers make in the elections? That's a WhatsApp question. Okay, so I'll start from the very last one from Martha. I think it's a first batch of 5. So he's asking that prior to the elections, you mentioned that you were putting together, trained some lawyers.
Yes.
What impact did they make, she's asking, and where these infractions happened in their presence?
It's because of the lawyers that these infractions have been discovered. You understand? But for the diligence of the lawyers, we couldn't have effectively thrown out the case in about Sene, which was in Sunyani, in Wenchi High Court. So the lawyers have worked very well.
Would you say they were vigilant? Did they do this? Did they find out these infractions?
The lawyers were not supposed to be polling agents, but they are readily available to handle issues that have come up. And that is why we're able to track the activities of all these fraudsters who have landed us here. You know, it was through the vigilance of our lawyers that we managed to get. There were several constituencies whose results they wanted to manipulate. You remember Apa Dinchra West or something. You know, there was a standoff. The modus operandi of NDC, EC and government has been that when NDC is heading towards victory in a particular constituency, then somehow the collation is stopped or delayed, and then the returning officer will come and say that I have instructions from above to stop collation, and so on. That's happened in Sefiyo also, and so on. So while there was a standoff, they will be planning what next to do. By the time you are aware, there is that some confusion will erupt, and then they will come and say that, okay, we have declared this man a winner or that. And at some places, there was so much pressure up at Dincha West on the returning officer, and I salute him for not yielding to that pressure.
From where?
From above, from the...
Stepstone präsentiert Jobs. Leichte Jobs, harte Jobs, wichtige Jobs und so.
Commissioners, the Electoral Commission head office, calling and putting pressure. Yes, calling and putting pressure. Come again.
Who at the head office?
There is a director of elections in this country. He was calling them and instructing. In fact, this Techimans after him. He called and said that they should not even release the collation sheet for us. You understand? So if you have
allegation, you can.
No, I can prove this allegation. I beg you.
Okay.
Yes. You know, phones have recorders and all that. So we can't run away from the fact that Electoral Commission at headquarters level try to influence these elections and influence the decisions of returning officers. You have two sets of returning officers. Constituency returning officers whose responsibility is to collate results at the constituency level and declare.
Okay.
And
so you haven't given me that evidence yet. So I would hold on to that until I get more evidence from you on that. I'll hold on to that part of the allegation till I get more evidence from you on that. Exactly. You are yet to give me
the national officers were putting pressure and trying to influence returning officers to either abort the processes or influence the processes in one way or the other, or calling people not to release collated sheets to us. Okay. That evidence is there.
Okay, that's fine. So we'll hold on to that until I get that evidence. There are other questions also that came in. For instance, she talks about the results being gazetted and what is the next step that the NDC is hoping to take.
You cannot put something on nothing and hope that it will stand. You understand?
What does that mean?
If what you are gazetting is wrong, your gazetting has no effect. It has absolutely no effect. And let me tell you, before this election, I narrated a story about Côte d'Ivoire, where elections had been held, results had been declared, and the results had been reaffirmed by the Constitutional Court and so on. When the people who voted rose to defend their vote, all the members of the Constitutional Court had to flee from Côte d'Ivoire. They came here, and after negotiations between President Atamils and the Ivorian authorities, we had to carry the judges of the Constitutional Court to go to Abidjan to reverse their earlier decision. And then get the president sworn in under an arrangement that if they are attacked, they will be deemed to have attacked the sovereignty of Ghana. And so they quickly did that, and then they got back on the presidential, Ghana's presidential, and we brought them here. So if you do a wrong thing, and you think that subsequent processes can then go and correct the foundation which is wrong, you are deceiving yourself.
She's deceiving herself.
So that gazetting of
undertaking what she's
I'm saying that gazetting of wrong results cannot stand.
Okay, so the listener is asking.
It cannot stand.
So there was a question that is asking that if you're saying that what they did was wrong, what actions are you taking? Is a question that
some of the actions are already underway.
Which is
street power, street protests.
To what end?
Well, to get the people to do the right things.
Which people?
To get public officers.
Street protests. How do public officers?
You want to know who will come to street protests?
I need to understand.
Okay. Maybe this is the first time it is happening. That's why you are talking about.
What will happen? What are we expecting from the street protests?
The street protest is aimed at getting public officers to do their lawful duties in a right and just manner. And that is a constitutionally guaranteed right of aggrieved people. And then the constitutionally guaranteed right of aggrieved people to go to court is also available.
What is the guarantee that it would not degenerate?
Come again?
What's the guarantee that you can give that this will not degenerate from what we're seeing?
Well, you look at the options and you choose the method that will give you your results. And for now, we think that the street protest will give us the results.
Has it started giving you any results?
Yes, it has.
What results are you getting?
We have gotten Sene, and we are going to get Techiman.
Did you get Sene because of the street protest?
Come again.
Did you get Sene because of the street protest?
It's part of the pressure. If we had all remained in Accra here, adamant about what will happen to
How long
we
will
wouldn't
you be
be
on the
happy.
streets? How long do you intend to be on the streets?
We will be on the streets till the right things are done. The injustice is corrected. That's all. So those who want...
It ends at street protests.
Come again?
Does it end at street protests?
We have several options. At any point in time, we will be reviewing our options that are available. Okay.
You are still reviewing?
We will look at all the options. All the options are on the table. Our flag bearer indicated it. So all options are on the table.
You've already started receiving visits from the diplomatic corps. For instance, last week, we had Sunday, so it's the next week. Last week, you started receiving visits from the diplomatic corps. What have they been telling you?
Well, to be honest with you, I've been in the trenches. I just came.
But you are the General Secretary of the
I'm saying
NDC,
that I've been in the trenches. And I have decided, you know, you have something you call division of labor. Okay, I've decided to be following the outstanding constituency, results and collations and cases. So I've asked others to be doing some other things. So there is a group that will be meeting the diplomats. There is a group that is pursuing the presidential results,
But at least you share information amongst yourself.
That's what I'm saying.
So you can't say that
I
you
didn't
don't
participate in any of those meetings with the diplomats. So I am constrained as to telling the public what was discussed. If you ask me about what happened in Wenchi, what happened in Sene, what happened in Techiman, I'll tell you.
Okay, so there was a message.
In the Sene one, they said that the court process was premature.
Yes, we've gone through that.
That is the information to those who are calling that go to court, go to court. The court themselves are saying that the process is premature.
But all the cases are not the same. No two cases are the same, you know that.
Those that have been sent there, they have the same hallmarks as the ones we are pursuing now. There are administrative
But the law is in the bosom of the judge, you know that.
Well, so that is that is an answer to you who are calling me to go to court.
I haven't asked you to go to court, have I?
Well, then let's abandon that one and pursue. I'm saying that the court of public opinion is very, very important. In fact, what we are doing here is part of the process of seeking redress.
Of course.
Because anybody who had any doubt about what was happening in Techiman, by now it should be clear that, look, Electoral Commission says the declaration you can make to indicate that somebody is the winner of the election is the sum total of the earlier declarations made by the same commission. So you cannot, the same commission cannot make a declaration at the polling station, which is the primary declaration, and then come to do totals which disagree with the declarations at the polling stations and hope that that wrong declaration will stand, and then you proceed to do gazetting and think that it is right. If they know that what they did there is right, why are the security in Techimai?
Okay, so
why is it that they are threatening our candidate? In fact,
your candidate is being threatened by
yes, he has been attacked twice. You know, by unknown assailants. His houseboy has been shot. And then he himself was attacked 2 days ago. They want to take his life. And they think that that is a way to get out of this mess. Once he is killed, then there is a...
Have we informed the security agency about this?
Yes.
Have you been provided protection?
That is not the only case. The modus operandi of MPP now to retain power is that if NDC has won seats that we cannot contest and that we cannot do anything about, let us find a way of eliminating some of the people who have won, so that the remaining number will be less than the numbers that we have, so that on that basis they can determine who will choose leadership of parliament.
They remain so allegations.
There are more than I think 4 or 5 of our candidates have come under attack within these 2 weeks. Our candidate elect for is it Keta?
Yeah.
Yes.
Judula.
You heard about the case.
Yeah, we heard about.
You heard about Jomoro, okay, and you heard about this the arrest of our candidate for Savlugu, and then this Christopher Bayere, who was attacked also twice. The first one they shot the houseboy. Okay. The second one, 3 people came. He quickly was able to inform. Luckily, there's a military detachment, police detachment in Techimai now, who came to his rescue, and it is.
But you know this.
So the point is that there is a desperate government wanting to remain in power at all costs, whether the people like it or not.
Okay, so there's this particular statement that is coming.
Radio host who just interviewed me in Techimai after the declaration of the result. His life is being threatened now.
A radio host. It brings us to the issues about the media. Yeah. We've seen you, at least, at a press briefing when we still thrust our microphones before you. There's a question that came saying that we still give you the opportunity because after raining insults on us, we still give you the opportunity to speak. And the allegations.
Can you play my statement to see where
it's a message that just came in.
No, you said that after raining insults on you, and I'm saying that if you don't have a clip where I'm raining insults on you, then that question need not be answered. Because it is the foundation of that question is that I have rained insults on the media. And so if it is not true, and you can prove to the person who is asking that indeed Asiedu Nketia has not rained insults on the media, so your question does not arise, then I don't need to answer that question. Okay, so you haven't attacked the media in any way? You said you saw me, you were there with your microphone. Can you play back the session of my speech which attacked you? Then it means that his question is founded on solid ground. Then I can answer. You said you can say for a fact that you have not attacked the media in all this. You see, since I have said that I feel disappointed in the conduct of a session of the media in all these elections, because we heard radio, television, and other media houses mentioning figures. And so I was asking that, can they come out to tell us their source of those figures? You understand? TV3 has since come to retract and apologize. So it meant that we have a case. You understand? Because you can't lump us all together. No, I'm saying and the media houses paint us with the same brush. I wasn't saying. I said the media houses that played that game. Because you see, the media houses were exposed badly. Those who tried to play a certain game were exposed badly. Electoral Commission brings out results. Then you come out to say that they are consistent with what you have picked, their figures have picked. Then the commission itself comes to change their figures. So...
But the media is not the commission. We work at the regional coalition centers.
Please, that is not true.
How is that not true?
Let me tell you. The commission, if any media house wants to do very diligent work, you can send people to the constituency coalition centers or even polling stations. And that when these results are declared, they are announced, and then if you have your collation, as I've said, a collation can be done by any media house. Then you can say that the basic data we picked was from here or there.
Exactly.
But you can't come and announce, when some media house announced that MPP had won 149 or so polling stations, and they were asked, where did you get those figures? At what point did the Electoral Commission tell the nation that MPP had won 139 polling stations? And it was found to be complete fabrication. You understand? Because you didn't pick it.
And that's just one media house. Right?
It's not just one media house. Other media houses were repeating other things. You understand? Which were later found not to be figures they picked from the Electoral Commission at all. They just wanted to confirm.
Where did they pick it from?
Well, you could ask them. So my question was, they should come out to tell Ghanaians their source of the information, because it is not consistent with what happened at the polling stations.
But your supporters thought that by that statement, for instance, you were lumping all the media together. And since then, some media personalities have come under a barrage of attacks, both on cyber.
Those who have come under barrage of attack, their conduct have been cited, and the evidence has been shown that this is what you said. Where did you pick it from? So if you can't justify, then you were lying to the public.
So you justify the attacks on their person?
No, I'm not saying justify an attack on anybody. I'm saying that Ghanaians have the right to scrutinize the work of the media, the same way as media can scrutinize the work of anybody. So you cannot be above scrutiny. So the public can scrutinize your work. So if you are reporting things that are not factual, the public can question you. The same way that you can question everybody in this country, including presidents, general secretaries, everybody. So we also have the right to question your work. And I was saying that, look.
But sometimes you question based on evidence, right?
Yes, that was what the questions I raised. Traditionally, if a media house claims that we have this report from the Electoral Commission.
Jetzt schnell sein, das neue Mi 10T Pro 5G mit Unlimited Datenvolumen für 29,99 im Monat. Für mehr O in deinem Leben. Jetzt bei O2.
Then it can be traced to the Electoral Commission. But when you announce figures and say that you got them from Electoral Commission, and later it is found to be that you never got any figures from that Electoral Commission, why do you think you should go scot-free? You shouldn't. You should bear the brunt of your lies.
By being attacked, right?
Who has attacked whom?
Okay, so we'll get into that. It's a part that we'll get to clarify. But let's take the next part of questions at this point. Time is running out on us. But we have WhatsApp. This one says, my name is Mahmoud Abdullahi from Kumasi. Please, I want to know, what's the NDC's next line of action after the nationwide demonstrations? This question keeps recurring. Thank you, he says. And then there's another one that says, we undoubtedly do not want to stifle people's right to protest as spelled out by Article 21, 1D. But these few days, none of the protests seem to look like civil demonstrations, unless you tell us that the new way to protest peacefully is to bend ties and block roads. He goes on to cite some other, incidents there. We'll go for another one.
Why are they calling for?
We'll get you to answer them. Kofi Owusu from Aswansi Kumasi says, please, can you ask the General Secretary when the leadership plus their families of the NDC will join the demonstration so that we, the citizens, will know that it is worth it for us to join the fight for what they claim is a cheat, he says. Abdulaziz Nindo Katochi in Tema says, please, I want to ask the General whether he still stands by what he said in 2012, that every idiot can go to court.
So you're asking me to go to court because I'm an idiot?
It's your comments that came to haunt you.
Said,
you said that. You said any idiot can go to court.
Any idiot can go to court. Those who don't understand it may have a problem with logic.
Okay, explain to us.
When they say that you have been taken to court, and so, and even before the matter is heard, you are declared to be guilty. That is the response you have to give. Going to court does not make you guilty. Somebody taking you to court doesn't make you guilty.
Of course.
So I said that any idiot can take you to court.
Okay.
But it is the judges who will decide whether the case is sensible or not. You understand? And that is the process we have in Ghana. Our laws indicate that any idiot can go to court.
Okay, so in this instance...
But there are people who are saying that when you say any idiot, the meaning is that those who go to court are idiots. They have problem with logic. Or English. You see? Because... Then, if you want to understand, I don't want the logic lessons to detract us from this argument. When you say that any idiot can go to court, it doesn't mean that all those who go to court are idiots.
Are idiots, okay.
You understand?
Okay.
But there are people, for whatever reasons, are interpreting that statement to mean that all the people who go to court are idiots. They have problem with logic. You understand?
Okay.
So, because, fact be told, have you ever seen anybody trying to file a process in court and they say, because you are not wise, we will not accept your process?
No.
No. Have you ever seen anybody who wants to file a process and the court clerks will tell you that we believe that there is no merit in your case, so we won't file it? No.
Okay.
And in fact, those cases that are dismissed and the petitioners find, it tells you that the judges believe that you brought a case without merit. You understand? Like this Wenchi High Court case. They told them, you yourself went and...
But the NDC has merit in its case. That's why the question keeps recurring, that
I'm saying
why
that,
won't you go to court?
Look, why do you think that people will be asking you that choose this method and don't choose this method? If I have to go to London...
Because they feel that being on the streets cannot change anything. That's the concern.
That is their
That's what they feel.
But we have our case.
What does the NDC know that we do not know? Because we haven't seen any protest asking the EC to undo what they did.
I was part of the process that collapsed at Champom's government. And Nana Addo was leading us.
So you intend to adopt the same style?
Why was Nana Addo doing that in those days?
What did you do?
If he knew...
What did you do back then?
We demonstrated continuously.
For how long?
Until the government collapsed, because we thought the government was not correct and it was not doing the right things. So if after whatever, if this government insists that they are still holding on to these flawed election results and declaring themselves presidents of this nation, the protest will continue till the right thing is done, because we will not allow illegitimate presidents to be running.
At least the little history I know is that a Champom's government was overthrown by a coup, or is that not the case?
Yes.
Is that what you're calling for?
No, listen. There was indication outside that things are wrong. So those who could correct the things came in to correct it. It was a palace coup, like a president, what do you call it? Cabinet, which came together and said that, look, what you are doing is against the wishes of the people. So sign your resignation and announce that you have resigned. And Champom resigned. That was it.
But the situation is not the same right now.
It is the same. If Nana Addo continues to be declaring himself...
He didn't declare himself as president, did he?
Then let us look at the figures.
But he did not declare himself as president.
We are saying that
if you have an issue, you take it up with the EC.
He appointed the electoral commissioners.
You appointed Charlotte.
And we told him that, we told the whole nation, my first statement was that the purpose of this appointment is to make sure that Nana Addo retains power.
Was that the same reason why you also appointed?
Because I had worked with Jean Mensah, I knew then, and I still know her level of competence. And I didn't think that she was competent enough to handle elections in this country. And I said so. In those days, everything I have said has come to pass. Have you heard any chairperson of Electoral Commission announcing results? The following morning, he said, I've made a mistake. You issue a statement. Another day, he comes to correct. Another day. More than 5 corrections of the same result.
Don't we have elections?
Stepstone präsentiert Jobs. Leichte Jobs, harte Jobs, wichtige Jobs.
That do not have errors. We've heard Afarijan, for instance, say that elections, there are errors in every election.
Afarijan has never announced election results which he has subsequently come to correct. And what we are asking for, you see, if Charlotte say, excuse me,
Jean Mensah
had listened and followed the processes laid down by previous commissioners from 1992 to date, we will not be in this mess. When she started to abandon the peace-building mechanisms within our electoral process, and we were talking, everybody was urging her on, and we said this will create a problem. You cannot abandon the IPAC process and hope to have peaceful elections at the end of it. You will make mistakes.
She abandoned the IPAC
process. She abandoned reduced IPAC into information, one-way information giving forum instead of a consensus-building forum. We complained about it. I stopped attending IPAC for, more than a year before the election.
Couldn't that be the reason why?
No, because I would not go there for the purpose of sharing ideas about how to proceed, and you come and impose things on me and get down there to announce in radio that this was the outcome of a meeting. I will not be part of it. So I told them that I cannot be part. And they abandoned the IPAC process. When she declared that she was not responsible for explaining to anybody about the work she does and so on. And Ghanaians were joking. This is what it has brought.
Okay, but so there was a question I was asking whether you describe these demonstrations as peaceful when you are burning ties amongst others. And there's another one, you can box the two together, where we are going to see your family members, leadership of the NDC,
That's
having
my
their
son.
families.
If you want him to come here, you come here, and the viewer.
This is not. Are we having a protest here?
Huh?
This is not a protest.
It says why my son is.
It says your family members are not joining a protest. So if you say he's here, we are not having a protest, are we? Is this a protest?
They are in the trenches. They are part of the process. One of my sons is in Techimai already for tomorrow's protest.
Okay.
So those who don't know my sons, how are they saying that my sons are not part of it? And this is one of them also standing here. He's also in the process. And let me tell you, this whole struggle is not about John Mahama becoming president. It's not about NDC ruling this country. It's about protecting the sovereignty of this nation and protecting our independence. So if anybody thinks that this is a protest, John Mahama's protest, so I don't care, let me stay behind, then you don't understand what is happening. Because you see, we are in a democracy. What is the difference between democracy and the other system, dictatorship and other system? Democracy, one of the biggest, defining characteristics of democracy is a people who have the right of self-determination. They choose their own leaders. And the right to choose your own leaders is an inalienable right. It marks the difference between democracy and dictatorship. In dictatorship, you have no right to choose your leaders. And the process of choosing leaders, the mechanism of choosing leaders, is free and fair elections. So when you have a democracy in which elections are being compromised, and you sit there thinking that this case is about John Mahama because he is a candidate, I'm not a candidate now. You are sacrificing your own sovereignty because if we allow this to stay, all that you are saying is that 30 million Ghanaians don't have the right to choose their president. It is Jean Mensah who can choose a president and impose on this country. If a democracy moves from elected leadership to selected leadership, then it is no longer a democracy.
I have a quick break before we wrap up this show, but quickly, I want a very brief answer. Yeah. Your candid view. Do you think that the NDC and your agents on the ground were vigilant enough? Do you think you let your guard down?
The challenge we are mounting is not about the work of our agents.
I'm just asking a direct question. I want a direct answer.
They did not let us down. Okay. Our agents worked well, and their work is the pink sheets at the polling station. It is the Electoral Commission officers who should add up the figures which our agents can attest to.
Because
who are doing the fraudulent thing, and we are
in Sunyani West or so, for instance, you raised one polling station where you say 49 persons were on the paper, but 400 persons voted. At least I monitored that.
Jeder Kapitän auf offener See hat die Pflicht, Menschen zu helfen, die in Seenot sind.
Press conference.
Yes.
Errors were detected, we are told, and the agents and constituency executives agreed for that to happen. Yeah. Then now the NDC turns around and says that 49 persons were there, but 400 persons voted. Are you aware of this particular incident? And what kind of briefing are you getting from the constituency? Okay, so we'll hold on to that. Let's go for a quick break. When we return, we'll get clarity to that briefly, and then we can wrap up. Welcome back, and thanks for staying with us here on The Probe. Our radio audience will be leaving us at 9 p.m. for a walk with Jesus, live on Joy 99.7 FM. We have just a few minutes more that we can, in terms of extension, that we can wrap up this conversation with the General Secretary of the NDC, Johnson Asiedu Nketia. So welcome back, and you're making a point, but let me quickly, we need to really bring in the audience questions. There are a number of them that we need to get into, but there have been calls. Of course, Codeo, we've had the National House of Chiefs, we've had IDEG. Of course, IDEG says that you have the right to protest, but of course, the right thing must be done for you to get what exactly you're asking for. I'm sure you've been listening to them. Are you going to heed those calls?
Thank you very much. You see, all these calls are well-intentioned, but they are misdirected.
Are they?
Completely misdirected. Because we are saying that our elections have been compromised. There is an institution that does the elections. Nobody is talking to that institution.
Do you know that for a fact?
Oh, but at least the advice to us is public. If there is another advice to them, it should be public for us to also know. We haven't heard it. So the institution that has done work, and they themselves have come out to claim that, to make corrections about 5 occasions, which has never happened in this country before. And because of that, there are protests and other things. So if anybody means well, is looking for peace in this country, why are you calling on the person who is being beaten and he's crying? Then you say that his crying is disturbing the environment, and you are not worried about the person who is beating him. So I think that the atmosphere in this country is so intimidating that nobody wants to talk about anything.
The NDC is being intimidated.
Not NDC alone. Not NDC alone.
Okay. Not NDC. Said the atmosphere is intimidating.
Intimidating. The presidency. The president. This government has introduced intimidation as a means of governance. And so the media is intimidated, the chiefs are intimidated, pastors are intimidated. So either they refuse to speak or they sing the chorus of, sycophantic chorus.
I mean, the media, so I'll speak for the media. Is the media being intimidated?
That you saw how they came up, how you have been following previous elections. Was that how you followed this election?
Exactly. That's how we did it.
What results did you get?
Were you part of the tight process?
What results did you get, which was different from the Electoral Commission?
When we did it in 2008 and 2012 and declared for the NDC,
and
how different was the process from then to now?
But the Electoral Commission at that time did not come to change their figures. This is an Electoral Commission that has come to declare figures, and you quickly came, oh, the figures are correct. Then the person who brought the figures themselves came to say that we are wrong, we have changed the figures. So what happens to your corroboration of those earlier wrong figures? But let me come on. You see, those who are calling for, we want peace, let there become, and so on, they are trying to use the method of appeasement to solve a problem. Appeasement does not guarantee durable peace. We have seen it all over the world. Look, when Germany started their expansionist policy, they overran Austria-Hungary and so on in the before the First World War. The whole world, Europe and everybody said, oh, if that is what they want, which will bring peace, let's allow them to take it. When they took it, it became a stepping stone for them to now call that come around the table and let us share Africa, and so that Germany, we can also get colonies. Then after that, they kept the expansion. It led to the First World War. When Liberia, in the case of Liberia, where after the Civil War, the international community appeared tied, ECOWAS and all that, we want the...
When the rain is blowing in your
the quick election, so if Charles Taylor wants the presidency, let's give it to him. When they gave it to Charles, when they were going to elections, when they knew that the playing field was not level for any election, they still went in, and Charles Taylor won about 90% or whatever, and he became president. They did guarantee lasting peace to Liberia. It was preparing the way for a bigger explosion subsequently. It happened in Cote d'Ivoire here too. You know, when Gbagbo was declared loser of the election, we want peace. So Gbagbo is the problem. Let him go. Let Alassane Ouattara come. Alassane Ouattara was seen as an angel. You see the angel the ECOWAS saw 10 years ago. So the person came now and said that, well, if I have been able to get the international community to allow me to do this, the next thing was that let's amend the constitution. Anybody who is more than 70 years couldn't be president.
So what are you expecting specifically from these bodies?
So I'm saying that they should be calling for the right things to be done. And there are people who have called for the right things to be done in the past, and they were done. And they know what is right. Go to 2008, when the results were being collated. Afarijan was about to go in for announcement. Then he informed all the political parties that this time we want to go and do declaration. Then MPP wrote a petition that we have issues to be addressed. So can you delay the declaration so that we sit around the table to address the petition? They gave copy to Peace Council. Then Peace Council rounded all of us.
Did you have the same concerns before?
I was there, yes. So we went and looked into their concerns. It was part of the process that led us to time. It was not any court that ordered us to go to time. Because we wanted solution, we wanted to follow our own laws, we wanted to follow our own procedures. So in the case of time... Because
maybe you have not presented a good case to them. Have you presented a good case to these bodies?
We presented a petition to the chairperson of the Electoral Commission. She refused to even read the petition. Our messenger was there. Said,
before the declaration.
Before the declaration. They didn't listen.
Did you petition the Peace Council and the rest? They came to your office and they were attacked.
They were not attacked.
The Peace Council came to your office.
I was there.
They were not attacked?
They were not attacked. People came down to insult and intimidate them that they are not truthful.
Is that not an attack?
And please, if they are referring to your past conduct of the Peace Council, don't you know that the Peace Council is part of this problem?
How are they?
They are part of the problem. When the things were starting, the Electoral Commission was doing the wrong things. Government was, a governing party was attacking people in Ayawaso, West Wogon, and so on, and Peace Council came in. They condoned that, look, let's find peace, appeasement. When they allowed sleeping dogs to lie in Ayawaso, West Wogon.
To seek peace.
That is, seeking peace means seeking durable peace. Justice precedes peace. If you want any other artificial peace without justice, you are postponing the problem. They postponed Ayawaso West Wogon, it exploded in Techiman, and people died there. If they had spoken courageously to stop what happened in Ayawaso West Wogon, Techiman wouldn't have.
But it appears if people are not speaking for the NDC, it means they are not courageous. How is that?
I'm not saying they should speak for NDC. I have told you that this issue there is an attack on our sovereignty. It's not about NDC. So if you have state institutions compromising our democracy, and you are there and you say you are interested in peace, and you know that that democracy is the one that will guarantee our peace, and you are not worried about the attack on the democracy, you are calling on the oppressed to guarantee the peace of the oppressor. Then what are you? Look, so appeasement doesn't solve any problem, it postpones problems.
Okay, so we're giving the extension because we need to hear from the audience.
Opinion leaders. We have tainted
Who are these tainted opinion leaders?
Mein Name ist Dr. Lotfi. Ich bin seit Jahren bei Gewusst Wo. Meine Homepage und meine ganze...
Listen, when the Electoral Commission came out and said that they have formed a committee of eminent persons to help them with, give them advice in the electoral process. Did you hear my response? I said that, look, we are working on dangerous grounds because you have these eminent persons
we have the likes of
who represent, yes, let me tell you, why are they not talking now? They can't talk. Because
but you don't think they are offering...
They have been tainted with the
just
activities.
Because they are not doing it openly.
Let me, if you listen to the statement, you understand where I'm coming from. When they were announced as 21 committee of eminent persons, you look through and you realize that they are the creme de la creme of this society. And Electoral Commission that is doing the wrong thing is trying to drag them to their side. So I raised an issue that, look, if we allow these people to go and taint themselves with the wrong things the Electoral Commission is doing, it will come to a point where we want leadership in the nation to speak. And then we won't have any. Go and have a look at the array of eminent persons whom Electoral Commission dragged, went and lied to them, and subsequently, yes, the documents were there.
These are eminent men, like you've said.
Yes, and the Electoral Commission went and lied to them. And subsequently, when the Electoral Commission told them that we are going to do this thing.
And these men can be lied to, men
yeah, they did. And that is why they are quiet.
Okay, well...
That's why they are quiet. They can't talk now. When the Electoral Commission told them we are going to do A, they ended up doing B.
Okay. Let me take questions, Mr. Asiedu Nketia. Let's take some of the questions that have come in. This one is from WhatsApp. John from Tema. Please ask Mr. Asiedu Nketia if he's aware of the update of the Sunyani West Bono STA Primary School Chera 1 polling station register from 49 to 610. If yes, why are they lying to the whole world?
Why? I have the register here.
Okay.
If you want me to
yes,
show
we'll go through it. So let's take the final one. Please ask the General Secretary of the NDC what his views are about the situation in Guan, where some people are denied their right to parliamentary votes.
Very well. That's a very important.
Okay. So let's quickly deal with the trial. I was asking you about it earlier.
What update is he talking about?
Briefly. We have to do that very briefly.
This is the polling. This is the register. We have 49. And
exactly what I was talking to you earlier about, that your executives, from our findings, your executives, party agents, agreed to that. They were told that there was an error and that they all agreed to it, that it was actually 400 persons and not 49.
It's not 400 persons, it's 49. So where the others, this is the register that was used for the election. So the others, when they came, which register were they referring to?
Okay. So there was another one
so
also
it's not
on
correct.
the one.
Nobody says it's an update. These are all people who are being misinformed.
Okay. So
this is the register.
Let's talk about one. We really have to wrap up. I have just a few minutes.
One is gerrymandering that went wrong, and it has created a problem.
And we've heard from the EC explain. A GNA report I've just seen earlier, just before I came on air, that's a paper I'm looking for, mentioned that the processes have been triggered for that to happen because the life of this parliament was going to expire. So if they had put it in, there was no way they would have been able to create that.
They had all the space to do what they claim they don't have time to do now. And we were warning them from that time. We were in court.
Wichtige Jobs und so richtig wichtige Jobs. Jetzt Jobs finden auf Stepstone. Eure Jobs sind unser Job.
about this we used to call the place SAL, Central Kofi Akpafu and Lolubi. It was an attempt by MPP to win Hohoi. And so they cut when they were creating the Oti region. Against the constitution, they decided to split Hohoi constituency and allocate parts.
Unfortunately, I'm really out of time, but I need a final, brief, 30 seconds assurance from you and a call to your supporters, for instance, in terms of calm and peaceful protests as you go on.
If my call is that it is their duty, their responsibility as citizens to rise up and defend this democracy, defend the sovereignty and defend the independence of this country. So the independence and sovereignty of this country is under attack. If they allow these attackers to go free...
Should they do it peacefully?
If they allow these attackers to go free, then they are sacrificing our democracy.
Attackers to go free?
Yes, those who are attacking our democracy. So the correct things must be done. And until the correct things are done, a LUTA continue, victory is
You haven't said if that should be peacefully, done peacefully. You haven't said that it should be done peacefully.
Oh, but did I indicate that it should be done violently in the first place?
But I'll need you to say that.
I'm saying that a LUTA continue and victory is certain.
Thank you very much for your time this evening. That's the General Secretary of the NDC, Johnson Asiedu Nketia, my guest here on The Probe. Make a date with me another day, next Sunday, for another edition of The Probe. I am MF Apao.